welcome to the VET S.O.S. Veteran Educational Resources Spotlight. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. Lifeline. VET S.O.S. Is brought to you by the Who You Know Network and is a proud member of the Parade Deck community. I am here with co-host Shawn. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Hira?
Oh, doing dandy. Always excited to do these recordings. But today we are joined by Charles Yakubow. I probably botched that. Darn. Okay. Who is the Director of Military and Family Support at Glenville State University. An Air Force brat, Charles developed a deep appreciation for service and community from a young age. He earned his bachelor's degree from West Virginia University and went to complete a master's in business administration at Glenville State University. With over 22 years of experience as a social worker, Charles has dedicated his career to supporting individuals and families through a variety of challenges. At Glenville State University, he leads efforts to assist military-affiliated students and their families, fostering a welcoming and resource-rich environment. His work reflects a lifelong commitment to advocacy, education, and the well-being of those who served. How are you doing today, Charles?
I'm good, ma'am. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. All right, so, in your bio it says military brat. Is that what brought you to working with the military population?
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, I was an Air Force brat, and Dad served better part of his half of his life in the Air Force, and being an Air Force dependent, that's where I had an appreciation for transitioning service members, and I know the dependents sometimes get lost in the shuffle, but we also have transition issues from bouncing school to school. The longest we ever lived anywhere was we lived in Alconbury Air Force Base in England for a better part of 5 years, and so you go, it's just a lot of transitions from not only school, but trying to meet other people and culture-wise. And so from there, I really, I can't say that I don't understand because that would be lying of service member actually deploying, but I see it from the dependent side, and I just always want to help. That's why the Glenville State is the military and family support, because it's not only the service member, it is the family entirely. I just want to help everybody at least get the shot, get the chance to succeed. But I could only we can only do so much, but we certainly try our best.
No, I totally understand. I'm a mil spouse myself and have definitely bounced around and had some fun. And, it has made a difference having, good supports at the colleges and universities I've attended. And I think that's great that your center does include, the service member, active duty, veteran personnel, as well as the families. Roughly how many military-connected students do you have at Glenville?
We have, we hit a milestone this year. We are sitting at, the service members and independents, we are sitting currently at 124. And I know that seems like a small number in comparison to WU or Ohio State, where they have thousands. Yeah. But when you look at the ratio in comparison to how many students we have roughly, we're sitting at 1,700 students total enrollment. Yeah. So if you look at the ratio, that is, we compete with, or not, we shouldn't say compete, but in comparison to pretty much anybody across the nation, because if you have an enrollment of 30,000 students, but you only have 3,000 service members and dependents, that it equals out. But we are a really small school, but that is kind of one of the advantage of having a small school, is that some people like those. We don't, our classrooms are maybe have 12, 14 students in there.
Wow.
So they're more hands-on, and really, especially our land serving bachelor's degree. He's a retired Army veteran, so he is very hands-on, and you could go to him anytime, any day to get help that you need, which is very powerful.
Yep.
That's fantastic, and something that I know my wife relates to totally. You know, she had offers to go to several major universities academically, but wanted to go to a small school. She liked that feel. She didn't want to be lost.
Yep.
So there's definitely a lot to be said for the smaller schools out there. And so what kind of things do you guys have going on campus for the military affiliated and veteran students that you have?
Well, we have, of course, the what they call just the Veterans Resource Center. It's a lounge, which is a small lounge, and that is kind of a losing battle. I know certain department or you have to have a lounge for service members if you want to use GI Bill benefits, but a lot of the service members they're not on campus anymore with the technology advancements, and with them having more and more families and not living on campus. So the lounge is not used like it should be. Some of the National Guard folks, they will use it, and dependents use it more, but that's one resource. Another resource that we are the Criminal Justice Department and the military program work hand in hand. And one of the things that we came up with is an articulation agreement for correctional officers, law enforcement, and they get so many credits for training. That they're like at the West Virginia State Police, they would get so much training credit, and they would get a discount on the tuition, which that really saves the GI Bill because you're shrinking down the time, so that if they wanted to get their grad degree using their Chapter 33 or whatever bill or whatever benefit they were going to use, they could utilize that as well and not be scrounging around trying to find, try to pay for additional money. And another thing that with being a small institution, I could have a conversation with the CFO and with the president, and tell them that say that there's a specific service member that is having a hard time and would like to finish school, but has he has a little bit on his tab that where I would say can we just cover this for him so that he can finish his degree, and they are very willing to, all within a reasonable number, but they're always willing to help, which is it to me, it could potentially save a life. Just to improve someone's life. That's what we should be there for, is to just better our fellow brother or sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that is I went to small schools myself, and it makes a difference when I like to think of it as like a high touch place, because you can actually get to know people by name. They'll get to know you. You're not lost in the crowd, and the resource allocation and supports do look a little different at smaller schools because, again, they aren't trying to support a giant student body. So definitely benefits. And the lounges, I think we've seen that trend a lot throughout higher ed, where there has been a decrease in the use of all on-campus services, right? Not just vet centers, but all services. But the fact that it still exists, there is still a landing place should somebody need it. So even if it's slightly underutilized, it's still there for when somebody truly needs it. And I think that's a wonderful thing, regardless.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I agree.
And so if students are interested in the institution, is there a point of contact for them, or what is the best way to get in touch if they want to connect with veterans and military family services?
The best way to go is to go just to glenville.edu, and then if you would the military program's under the admissions department. So if you just kind of hover over the admissions, and you'll see military and family support. If you click on that, you'll see all the information about the program. You'll see the information about the VA benefits and their requirements and my contact information. And the best way to get a hold of me is by email at charles.yakubow, Yakubow, at glenville.edu. And I probably shouldn't say this because I'll probably get in trouble. But it doesn't matter if you're coming to Glenville or not. If a student veteran or dependent just has questions or needs help because they say that their institution that they go to is not really understanding what they want, I feel free to contact me. I will help. I'm also part of a veterans organization out of Morgantown, and we help the community just really find resources, and whether it's mental health or just some financial money, or if school wise, we all put our heads together and really try to help. And that's kind of what I want, just to be a resource to help somebody.
That's fantastic, and I love hearing that. And hopefully, you don't get in trouble, because it's something that we hear.
I don't.
We hear from almost every school has come on here and said virtually the same thing, saying, "Hey, I want you to come here, but I got it. If this isn't the right fit, we want to find the right fit for you." And that's just so wonderful to hear that you guys have that same mentality. Well, like Dr. Hira likes to say, time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, sir.
We're already down here to the end. So, Charles, we want to thank you for joining us today on VET S.O.S. And on behalf of the entire VET S.O.S. family, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. You can find VET S.O.S. podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, and all social media platforms. And make sure you subscribe and follow so you don't miss anything that we're putting out. And as always, remember, don't drown the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. Lifeline.